Hello, entrepreneurs. Welcome back to this channel. And I'm Saranya Narayana Moorthy here. Today, we are going to talk about one of the very important topics that you should certainly know if you have a website. So, okay. So, have you heard of this term called zero click reality? So, what do you think is zero click reality? Have you ever seen that earlier when we used to type us keywords on Google or when we used to search for something, we used to get websites that give us the information. And then Google developed itself a little, and then we had questions wherein, let's say, if you click on that question, and then you will get a certain answer, but even that taken from certain websites that are relevant to it. But right now, Google has introduced search labs wherein if you type for any information, you will just get what the answer is without redirecting to any website. Now, this is the inclusion of AI and how much Google is able to summarize the data from the existing website and provide it to you. Now, this is what we call a zero click reality. You are able to find your answers without clicking on any sites. Now, do you think it's a threat or a promotion for your own website and your ranking? Now, imagine this scenario someone is searching for the services that you offer. Earlier, what we used to do, we used to educate people on the services, we used to answer their question, raise awareness, and do all sorts of that in order to direct traffic to our website. But right now, you are when even if you give those information, you are not necessarily directing people to your website, but you're just giving them information. Sounds scarier, right? So this will actually reduce the number of traffic that goes into your site. But is it all? If you ask me, I would say obviously not. Because SEO has progressed in a way that right now Google is able to grasp, summarize, and narrate the information rather than just pick up content and present it to your viewers. And this presents an amazing opportunity for you yourself to put your website in the frontier, advance to the next few stages of how you are ranking on Google. Now, this is what we can actually improvise when you work on page SEO and especially on content optimized SEO. There are too many types of SEO that you need to focus on. But generally, let's say when you hire an agency, they say you need at least 6 to 12 months to rank on the first pages of Google. Now, why do they say that? Because the primary reason is they take time to figure out what is the right way to approach for your brand. Because not every keyword should be approached in the same way, right? Depending on traffic, depending on complexities, depending on competitiveness, there are so many other ways to actually evaluate which method of SEO you have to choose. Now, many companies do not know the right way of doing it, and that's why they take so much time because SEO, though it is a time consuming activity, it's not that extensive time consuming activity. To give you a realistic expectation, when you actually start working on SEO, 45 days, you can see that your ranking of your keywords are improving. The keywords that are not there in the top 100 will actually come in the top 100 ranking, which means in the first 4 to 5 pages of Google. And as we progress, within 90 days, you can see that you're able to rank at least 20% of your keywords in the first page of Google. That is exactly what we in Contentboard do for our clients. I'll give you a little example of how we will do it, and I'll also tell you how you can battle this zero click reality with this exact same approach. So, ready? So, firstly, when a client signs up with us, we clearly evaluate their business goals, their business sphere, and what keywords they wanted to choose, what are the services they wanted to rank, what are their ultimate goals are. Is it lead generation? Is it traffic? Is it awareness? What exactly is it? Now, most of our clients say we wanted to generate leads, correct? So, in order to generate leads, you need to know which is the audience segment that is of primary importance. What are the keywords? Choice of keywords is a completely different thing to actually discuss on because you don't just choose keywords based on which has the highest traffic, but you choose the one based on query triggers. More on this on a different video. Right now, let's stick to the topic. How do you ensure that your keywords are ranking first on priority? So you do that by optimizing your content while you strengthen your foundational SEO, on-page SEO, and your technical off-page SEO. All these three can be done. Let's say the foundational SEO takes up the first 45 days. So once you concretely set the foundations, you are able to ensure that your basement is strong. And everything that you build on that will certainly multiply. So once you know that your basement is strong, then you work on your content, which is where the zero click realities influence comes into play. Now, here are three immediate ways through which you can ensure that zero click reality does not affect your website. Add more FAQs. Be it for, let's say, the blogs you write, for the service pages you have, every single thing, add more FAQs. So, more FAQs you add, these are direct questions that you're answering for your prospects, right? Because, like I said, FAQ stands for frequently asked questions. So, you need to ensure that you are choosing the questions that are most asked by your prospect. The ones that are highly typed on Google, the, let's say, more normal misconceptions that they have, general questions that they come to you with. Now, where do you find these questions? Very easy. You find tools like Uber Suggest, AnswerThePublic.com, where you can actually find these questions, and those are free. So, when you get those questions in here, ensure to choose that these questions are directly to your service, in your industry, as per your prospect. Understand the level of awareness your prospect comes from. Are they someone who are beginners? Are they someone who actually know about your service and then wanted to get information about it? Because when you choose these audience, that's when you choose a segment you're targeting. So ensure to be very specific. Now, once you choose all these FAQs and once you get them added, Google, whenever there's a question, you have to pick up answer from there. Okay. So now once you know that, okay, so these are the questions, you have successfully mapped your crawlers to your questions. The questions part is sorted. The next part, when you answer these FAQs, on top of just answering them in, let's say, small bits and pieces of sentences, also add separate blocks speak about these specific questions. For example, let's say you are providing digital marketing services and you're saying, how many posts should I post in my social media account? How many posts should I post on my Instagram? Let's say if that is your question. On top of answering, 3 to 4 posts a week is actually ideal. You put a separate blog saying why are 3 to 4 questions ideal? What is the time they should choose? Kind of post should it be? Should it be all posts and no carousels? Or what kind of carousels should it be? All sorts of things. Generally, in a B2B marketing space, one of the primary plays where our prospects are stuck is they say, I'm doing email marketing. I do LinkedIn marketing. What do I do next? Now, this is a question that comes from an audience perspective, right? But in reality, we are speaking more about if you're posting on LinkedIn or if you're posting on email marketing, those are two different things. LinkedIn is a public nurture and email is a private nurture. So, how do you handle between these two? So, why do you choose that? Or if you're choosing it for which audience and for which frequency you're choosing it? So all sorts of things is what will come into a detailed blog for us. So when you're creating this content, ensure to keep a very clean eye on the questions and how you answer to it. Now, both of these will ensure that you are providing your prospects with a very clear idea of if Google is picking answers from my blog, my prospect will get a complete info. And while it's giving, also every time you summarize the blog, ensure put in details about your company. You actually notice how in this video, while I was educating you, while I was teaching you how to do it, I also told you about how we do it and how our clients get result within the first 45 days and the first 90 days, and they really do not need to wait for this SEO to pick up 6 months later. Now, that's a very good example of how you can immerse your brand within it. Tell stories. Don't just put it as plain vanilla text that can actually be gotten from ChatGPT. Trust me, everything can be AI generated. But the story that you create, the story of what you bring to the table, that is something that AI cannot. Even if you're picking up blogs from ChatGPT, ensure to do it in the right way. Put in that storytelling format. Use the basics of marketing. Use the 7 rules of marketing in order to get your content right. Because once you do this, Google will be able to pick up questions, ensure that your answers are coming in, and finally optimize it and bring your customers to conversion. Because ultimately, the efforts of every activity that you're doing will showcase to you when your customers turn from, let's say, people who might know your brand to your prospects to your clients, right? So ensure this transition is done seamlessly from every piece of content that you do. So, with that being said, if you have any more questions about SEO, B2B marketing, B2B sales funnels, and especially how to position your brand to convert better, you know where to reach me. Connect with me on LinkedIn, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and for any queries, drop me an email, and I'll see you there.